Hello everybody, I'm going to make chocolate nog. This is a real trip down memory lane for lots of people, but it's also a great thing for little people to get involved with in the school holidays. You don't need very much, and then you can go to town on decorating it. So here we go. I'm going to use a commercial Swiss roll because you could make your own roulade. The thing about that is that it has to be eaten on the day it's made, so you're better off with a shop-bought Swiss roll, and you need to find one that doesn't have sugar on the outside because the icing won't stick. Now, for the icing, I've got 100 grams of soft margarine. You could use butter, but it will make it ever so rich, and I think it's sweet enough as it is, so I'm going to use margarine. And to that you add double the quantity of icing sugar with cocoa powder. So I've got 175 of icing sugar and I've got 25 of cocoa. And all you have to do is get that sieved in. Now this is where you'll have a snowstorm if you're not careful. And simply work it into the margarine or the butter. If you use butter, make sure it's unsalted. Now this takes a while, and you will need a finger every now and again to just clean off the spoon so that you can get it all worked in. Make sure that you do use cocoa and not drinking chocolate, because drinking chocolate has milk powder and sugar added to it, and you won't get the same kind of result at all. So dark bitter cocoa. And it takes a while, but just be patient and just keep working at it. When you get towards the end, you can put a bit more in because it mixes in more easily. And if you get lumps in the bottom of your sieve, don't tip them in, of course. Squash them through the sieve because you do need all of that sugar and cocoa. This is probably where a little person would get a bit bored, so you might have to take over. If they lick their fingers, please make sure they wash them again. And you can see it's getting stiffer and stiffer, so you just have to keep working at it. But you want it to be a nice soft, sort of spreadable consistency so that you can get it all on top of your Swiss roll. I think that's about it. Now, we need to make this look very festive, so I've got a silver board. This is a 10-inch cake board, and it says it's suitable for an 8-inch cake, but you can get silver ones, gold ones, you can get them printed with holly, whatever you choose. And we are going to make our Swiss roll look a bit more twiggish. So with a sharp knife, we're going to cut, I suppose probably, what would be a quarter off the end, but cut it on the angle. So about an inch, inch and a half in on one side and about 3 inches on the other. Just cut that piece off, and then we're going to use a bit of our icing. We're going to stick the Swiss roll to the board. Now put it down at an angle, so that's your main piece of twig, and then the other piece we need some icing underneath as well, and we're going to stick that on the side so that it looks as though it's a piece of tree stem trunk that's been chopped, you know, an arm's been chopped off there and a bit chopped off there, so it just makes it look a bit more interesting. And now we get to spread all over. Now if you've got sugar on your Swiss roll, it won't stick very easily, and you have to resort to using your fingers. It gets very messy. It's possible, but it's difficult. So start to cover your Swiss roll. Don't do the ends though, just do it along the length of the thing. Go as far down towards the board as you can. Turn it as you go so you can see what you're doing. And if you discover at the end of this you've got too much icing, it keeps in the fridge and you can use it for something else. Put it onto some little cakes or something. That's looking suitably branchy, I think. Just cover that bit up. Now the next thing to do is take a fork, do some wavy lines like bark. Let's move that out of the way. So just go down the log, and that would go in this direction. So it looks tree-ish. And then all you have to do is just make it look a bit festive. So this is where you can go to town with little people. You can have quite big sort of things like that. You can have your little sign that says Merry Christmas. You probably ought to have some robins, and I like to have odd numbers of things. So I'm going to have 3 robins. Another one over here. No, let's put in there. And a little bit of holly perhaps somewhere. Plastic holly. You can get all these things from your local cook shop. But then something else that's rather nice is this glitter spray, edible glitter spray. And it gives it a frosty sheen. So it's a pump with a powder in it. So you just pump over the top. Can you see the glitter falling? And it really does give it a little sort of frosty, snowy look. Now that will keep for up to a week in an airtight tin, and I suggest that you use the lid of the tin as your base and then turn the tin over the top onto it and put a sign saying do not turn upside down, so that it stays nice and safe. And there's your chocolate log. Have a go. Take a photo, like, share, subscribe, and I hope that your family enjoy it over Christmas.